Hey guys, how are you doing? This is Kinghand Lee, a mixing and mastering engineer. I have just received my Sony MDR-MV1 headphone, which is claimed being designed specifically for Sony 360 mixing. I don't know who is mixing Sony 360 or what's the difference between Sony 360 and Atmos mixing, but I think they should be similar. So I bought this headphone and hope it could be helpful to my Atmos mix. This video is not sponsored by Sony or any dealer. From my point of view, you can mix stereo by only using a headphone, but you can't do Atmos mixing that way. Unlike stereo mix, when you do Atmos mixing, you will need at least 11 speakers and a subwoofer. And when you are surrounded by all these speakers, they form a unique space which can't be recreated by a single headphone. So this time, let's see if the Sony MDR-MV1 can get a better result. I know you guys can't hear what I'm about to listen to, so I will fast forward the listening part and describe the sound I heard to you. Before we start, please hit like and subscription button to support me. Okay, here I opened an Atmos session, and I'll first listen to the whole mix in the headphone. Okay, then I will listen to it on speakers. I'll unmute all the monitoring path and play it on the speaker. Well, the first impression is the frequency response of the headphone is similar to my speakers, and it's even better. The headphone is even better because the low end part is deeper than my subwoofer. It's fair because this is claimed. The frequency response of this headphone is claimed from 5 Hz to 80 kHz. Wow, that's a really wide range. But the space filling is still not the same. But they are close to each other. But it's just not the same. It's obviously that this headphone, the Sony MDR-MV1, is better than my old headphone. And one more thing is the balancing. In my speakers, the backpipe, which is this one, this track. This backpipe sounds appropriate, but in the headphones, it sounds a little bit quieter. The weird thing is all other balancings are similar to the speakers, but only for the backpipe, it sounds a little bit quieter than it in my speakers. Okay, now let's listen to some individual parts and move them around. I'll first turn off all the monitoring path and listen to it in the headphones. I will choose, let's see, this is a guitar solo, and let's see where it's located. Okay, it's located at mid-front. Okay, I'll try to do the same thing in my speakers. Wow, this impressed me a little bit because in my old headphone, the moving trail is not that obvious, but in the Sony MDR-MV1 is more obvious than before. It almost sounds the same. The moving trail is almost the same as it in my speakers. As I said, it's the only difference now I'm feeling is about the space feeling. In the speakers, there is distance between the sound and me, but in the headphones, there is no distance at all. So I think that's why it makes me feel different between the speakers and the headphones. And now let's try some other stuff like, oh, let's see this, the snare. I'll start with the speakers. Of course, the moving trail. Of course, the moving trail is obvious when it's in the speakers. And now let's try it in the headphones. This time I'm testing the up and down moving trail. Well, that's a little bit disappointment because in the headphone is the up and down moving trail is not that obvious. It's not even close to the speakers. Okay, now I'll listen to some stereo music, and it's only for testing the frequency response and the dynamic of this headphone. And I'll listen. Let me see. Let me try some stereo music. Okay. Okay, I think I've got some conclusions here. Firstly, this headphone is definitely worth to buy. The frequency response is flat. The bottom part is deep enough and appropriate. I can hear the frequency around 20 to 25 Hz. I've also listened to some more materials, including stereo, Atmos, and spatial audio. So the conclusions are, it has more dynamic room than my old headphone, so you can rely on it even if you don't do any Atmos mixing or 360 mixing, because when I'm mixing stereo, the headphones are the main tool that I use to monitor. Secondly, about the balancing issue I have just mentioned, the bagpipe, you still remember? That's not the issue of this headphone. That's the problem of the binaural algorithm, because I heard the same balancing in my old headphone. So the final conclusion is Sony MDR-MV1 performs better than my old headphone, no matter in Atmos mixing or stereo mixing. But I still don't think I can use it only to finish an Atmos mixing. But the good news is, I can't finish an Atmos mixing by speakers only either, because I have to use them both. And can Sony MDR-MV1 help me to get a better Atmos mix? The answer for sure is yes. What you guys think about this headphone, please leave your comment below. Thanks for watching and see you next time.